Just when we thought the cancellations were done for a while, the Grim Reaper has swung his sickle once again. That story and more next on the Cruise News Week in Review. Thanks for tuning in to the Cruise World. My name is Mark, and you're watching the Cruise News Week in Review. If you enjoy this video, please consider hitting that like button and joining in on the conversation down in the comments. Just when we thought we had our fill of cancellations for a while, bam, the cruise lines struck again. Earlier this week, Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings extended its previously announced global cruise suspensions as they continue to work towards meeting the requirements of the CDC's framework. The suspension now runs through April 30th of this year for all voyages on Norwegian Cruise Lines, Oceania Cruises, and Regent Seven Seas. And then, barely 2 weeks removed from the last Carnival cancellations, yesterday morning, Carnival extended their pause of U.S. departures through April 30th, and they pushed back the inaugural cruise on the Mardi Gras to May 29th. But wait, there's more. Carnival has also canceled their European itineraries on the Carnival Legend from May through October of this year. And yes, that includes my scheduled cruise to Ireland and Scotland with the John Heald. Carnival Cruise Line President Christine Duffy said, quote, "Our guests and travel agent partners continue to express their loyalty to Carnival and their desire to get back on our ships as soon as they can. And we are heartened by the booking demand and activity we continue to see. We are certainly committed to welcoming them back as quickly as possible, but unfortunately, we have determined it's going to take a while longer. And the situation in Europe will also impact Mardi Gras' departure to the U.S. and the Carnival Legends itineraries in Europe," end quote. And for our friends and cruisers down under, Carnival has also canceled their Australian sailings on the Carnival Splendor through May 19th and on the Spirit through June 12th. The MSC Grandiosa is set to resume sailing tomorrow, January 24th, leaving from Genoa, Italy, with stops in Civitavecchia, Naples, Palermo, and Valletta, Malta. Last year, the Italian Health, Transport, and Safety Authorities helped develop and authorized MSC's health and safety protocols, which has allowed the company to safely welcome more than 30,000 guests on board its 2 ships based out of Italy. Hey, CDC, take a look at what they're doing. It seems to be working. Royal Caribbean's Quantum of the Seas is currently sailing short cruises in Singapore. This week, the company decided that that's where she'll stay. The Quantum was scheduled to leave Asia en route to Alaska in May to sail week-long cruises from Seattle, but RCL has decided to keep the ship in Singapore for the season. The decision leaves just 3 Royal Caribbean ships scheduled for Alaska this season: the Ovation, Radiance, and Serenade of the Seas. Hey, when you're strapped for cash and you're barely working, what do you do to pay the bills? You sell stuff you don't really need anymore, right? It's no different for cruise lines. Royal Caribbean Group has announced that they are selling its Azamara cruise line to Sycamore Partners for $201 million. Sycamore will acquire the entire Azamara brand, including their 3 ships, the Quest, Journey, and Pursuit, as well as all associated intellectual property. The transaction is expected to close sometime in the first quarter of this year, and no information has yet been released on how the sale will affect currently booked cruises. Regarding the sale, Royal Caribbean Group Chairman and CEO Richard Fain said, quote, "Our strategy has evolved into placing more of our resources behind 3 global brands, Royal Caribbean International, Celebrity Cruises, and Silversea, and working to grow them as we emerge from this unprecedented period," end quote. Royal Caribbean Group says they will work closely with Sycamore Partners to ensure a seamless transition for Azamara employees, customers, and stakeholders. The Costa Smeralda literally ran into a bit of trouble yesterday morning while docking in the Italian port of Savona. No one was injured in the docking mishap, but one of the ship's lifeboats did suffer injuries as it was ripped from the ship and plunged into the water. Costa reports that there was no damage to the ship itself and she remains seaworthy. Costa is scheduled to resume sailing on March 13th, with the Smeralda being the first ship set to sail. Until this week, I had never heard of Saga Cruises. But this week, the company, which is headquartered in Folkestone, England, became the first to announce that all passengers who book a sailing must receive the COVID-19 vaccine at least 2 weeks prior to boarding. Saga exclusively markets to and operates for people aged 50 and older, and plans to launch its Spirit of Adventure's inaugural voyage on May 4th with a ship full of vaccinated passengers. Saga's other ship, the Spirit of Discovery, is scheduled to sail on the 2nd of June. Now, this is a small cruise line that caters to an older crowd, but this does make you wonder if the bigger cruise lines will adopt this sort of policy in the future. What do you think? If you've ever thought about going around the world in 180 days, Oceania Cruises has the cruise for you. This week, the company announced their 2023 sailing on their 684-passenger Insignia. The cruise will depart from San Francisco on January 15th of 23 and will call at 96 destinations in 33 countries across 4 continents. If you've got the time and money, the voyage will go on sale later this week. Now, if you've ever gone on one of these world voyages that I'm looking forward to, I'd love to hear about your experience, so please let us know. President and CEO of Carnival Corporation, Arnold Donald, sold over 62,000 shares of his company stock this week. At $21.12 a share, his proceeds were more than $1.3 million. Now, Donald made a similar sale last January as well, so I wouldn't read too much into this. However, all 3 of the big cruise stocks were slightly down again this week. Royal Caribbean slipped 1.31%, Carnival dropped 2.74%, and Norwegian fell 3.11% from last week's closing. Hey friends, you're now caught up on all the latest cruise news. Please hit that like button and say hello to us down in the chat. There's nothing we love more than cruising, but chatting with fellow cruisers does take a close second, so let's get that conversation started below. Stay safe, everyone. We'll see you right here next week.